My name is Wagner. My younger brother was diagnosed with a GBM in the summer of 2000. And let's see, there were 6 people in our family, so everybody in the family kind of dealt with that differently. And when we went up to Sloan Kettering for the first surgery, they didn't know what kind of tumor it was right off the bat. So they came out of surgery. We didn't know if it was going to be benign or malignant. And so in the course of 5 minutes, we found out that it was malignant. It was a bad malignant. And the doctor said, 3 to 6 months. And so it was a huge shock. And so when I was going through the packet here today and I saw the list of all the resources and the people, you're going through enough. Clearly, if you're in this room or if you go through something like that, and it's, we always question whether we were making the right decision as far as what type of doctors we were going to go see, or was this the best type of care, or is this the best way to spend some money, and to have, we didn't really have many resources back then. So, now when I look at the number of resources on that page, people like Judy, people like Nancy, I would really lean on them and look at them almost as like a partner, because maybe if they can help you get to where you're going to wind up anyway in a shorter period of time, it's good for them to be able to help you save that kind of time, and also, on the financial side as well. If there's, some ways that they can help you save some money here and there, it certainly adds up and definitely takes a little bit of pressure off of, like what my brother was going through, what his family was going through, what our family was going through. It's too much almost to deal with. So to have resources like that, it's a good thing. I'm not sure how much I can really help, but Judy had asked me just to make a couple of comments. From my brother and I, we were 2 years apart. We both worked together at Merrill Lynch, and that first procedure when they came out and said 3 to 6 months, you just can't believe it. And so, and at the time, some of the drugs that are out there today weren't even on the drawing board back then. So when you hear people 2, 3, 4 years and they're still fighting, that's much better than hearing 3 to 6 months. Have a nice weekend. So. But at the time, we were, financial people, and, luckily for him, there was a couple of things that I had used him as a guinea pig to help, get his family set up before we knew exactly what had happened. But what we had done was that, he did have some life insurance, and based on the diagnosis at the time, this is 2000, we were able to get a small prepayment from the insurance company, which made a horrible situation a little bit easier. So we were able to squeeze a little bit extra out of a disability policy. We were able to squeeze some money out of Social Security. So those are just a couple of things that we had done, just make life a little easier for him and his family. So and at that time, I don't know what everyone's experiences are in the room, but with his condition, there's so much uncertainty. They couldn't say, this is where it is in your head and this is what we expect. If the tumor took a break and stopped growing, and for a small period of time it did. He seemed for the period of time that he was, alert during the day, for a person that didn't know him or his condition, he seemed like somebody you just run into on the street. And based on the side effects of his condition, let's say you've got 24 hours in the day, if he was, alert for 10 hours and you'd met him during that period, you wouldn't really know, what he was going through. And so we always got a lot of questions, speaking, earlier, where, people who hadn't met him would say, well, he looks fine. Doesn't look like he has cancer. And so, there was a lot of explaining to do there as well. My recommendation would be just to lean on you guys, because they're going through a lot. When you go through that sheet in there on resources that you can use. It's, 3 pages long, double-sided, which is a lot, and for families where, you have a full plate, not to push more work onto your guys' plate, but I would say use these guys and just try to knock them off one by one, because there's no one area that's gonna, help you out. It's gonna be a lot of help from a lot of little different areas, and his family had a lot of stuff on their plate, so it was little things that myself and my 2 sisters and my parents would do, to try to help out a little bit here and there.
Excuse me, what did you mean by prepayment before when you
That's
spoke?
that same question.
Yeah, based on his a GBM category 4 in the summer of 2000, they said 3 to 6 months, and they were able to get through the doctors at Sloan and then ultimately the doctors at Duke Medical. It was like a doctor's note that you said this, in our opinion, this is a terminal illness, and so whether nobody knew what the prognosis was at the time, but we were able to present that to the insurance company and get, there's a formula that they use. You can't get 100% of the proceeds, but you say, okay, if the net value of that policy is $100,000 and you say, I would love to access 20,000, they might give you 16,000, if you follow me there. So you didn't want to access the whole thing,
Right.
because part of that was for the kids and future living expenses in college and stuff like that. But they were able to say, okay, we want to cash out 25% of the policy. How much of that can we get? Will you pay us today?
See,
And
that's
that-
amazing information, because I had no idea about that, and I mean, my situation was different. There's so many families that lose everything at the moment when the person's the sickest and don't even know that that's even a possibility.
Yeah. So you don't get 100 cents on the dollar. You see
Right.
those commercials on TV, saying if you have an annuity settlement, you were in an accident, we'll give you the cash now. Their fee that they charge to do that's pretty hefty, but I would look into it, talk to your doctors and see if that's an option, and then you go to the insurance company and go from there. But this was, he was able to cash out 25% of his policy ahead of time.